and you should have 2 nipples. You should have 2 nipples on this side of the trigger shoe now, my boys. I don't know, the V1s might be official. They might be official, yo. I thought they was duds, I'm not gonna lie, but they might be official. You just gotta work on them a little bit. CastawayEnt. I got a good one for y'all today. Now this video has been long awaited, bro. I tried to record it yesterday and fucking Pirate went out for like 300,000 people, bro. So I couldn't even do it if I wanted to, dog. But we got the power back. We got the power back so we can actually get it in there for y'all now. Now this is the Pimbleton's design of the Glock Frt. I'm gonna install it on this Glock 17 Gen 4 today, and then I'm gonna make another video installing the V2. It's pretty much the same thing, bro. I'm telling y'all right now, y'all like y'all thinking about it way too hard, bro. It's pretty much just replacing your trigger shoe and adding that little metal trip. But let's get into it. First, you wanna unload your gun. Now this one already has a V1 on there, so I'ma just be reinstalling it. Alright, empty. Now just take your slide off. Now I personally have the little gas pedal on there, so I gotta take mine off a little bit different. Alright, boom. Gun is empty, slide is off. Now you can set that slide off to the side, and you can proceed to take your trigger out. Take all of the pins out for your Glock, and just set them off to the side, and make sure you do not lose them. Once you take your pins out, pop that locking block out, and everything you just come right out just like that. Okay, now you have your trigger out, you slide off all of that. You should have an empty frame. You should have a nice little empty frame, bro. And then you should have your little trigger thing right here. Now go ahead and take your trigger bar off of the trigger housing. And if you have a Gen 4, your jaw might hang a little bit like that. If you have a Gen 3, then you might be able to take your like a trigger bar completely off. So go ahead and take this off of the spring. Alright, now once your trigger bar is off of your actual housing, you can proceed to take your old trigger shoe off. Alright, now like I said, I already have the V1 trigger shoe on my shit, so there's no point in me hammering mine out, but I do have a brand new one for me to walk you guys through everything. So if you have a brand new trigger shoe that has the original trigger shoe on there, if you look, there's one side where you can see the pins, and then on the other side, you can't see the pins at all. Take your trigger shoe, the whole little trigger bar and trigger shoe, face it away from you. You have your left side and your right side. Your left side should be facing up first. Boom. You want to drill, not even drill, hammer the little nipples to the right side. Your nipples will be on the right side of the trigger shoe. Now take your right side should be facing up now. Now you want to hammer those pins out. Your pins are coming out the left side. To make it long story short, bro, the pins are coming out the left side, but you have to hammer them to the right a little bit to actually see the area for you to hit. You're not going to be able to just guess. I mean, you can try to guess, bro, but it'll be way easier to just do it how I told you. You're trying to create a nipple on the side that you previously could not see the trigger shoe pins. And you should have 2 nipples. You should have 2 nipples on this side of the trigger shoe now, my boys. Now look, this is just a demonstration. Like I said, if your shoe is facing away from you, that's the left side that you can see both pins on. And then this was the side that you couldn't see any pins on. Now I overdid it just so I can show y'all boys what it'll look like. You should have 2 nipples on that side. Now once you have those 2 nipples on that side, lay this down, and now you just hammer those nipples so the pins can come back out this side. Now, I tried to simplify it as possible as I can, bro. Now, if you couldn't figure that like this out, bro, honestly can't help you at this point. Alright, now once both of your trigger pins are out, you should just have your single bar right now. Now, you can proceed to take your new trigger shoe and line your hole up on your trigger bar. You have 2 ends, one that has a hole and then one that's going inside of your trigger housing. The one that has this little hole in there, you drop that in this little slot, can't miss it. Put your trigger bar in this slot and match this hole up in here. Once you put your trigger shoe on your bar, take that pin that you just took out of your last trigger shoe and put it in this one. Now you had 2 pins in this last one. For the Glock FRT, you only need 1 pin. Just put that pin on with this new Glock FRT trigger shoe, and then you should get a little movement like that. You should not be able to just pop your bar off. That means that your trigger pin is not in there correctly. So you should be able to give it a little snug, move it around a little bit, like this. Alright, you just finished the hardest part to actually install this, bro. Now you literally just put your gun back together. Now if you have a Gen 4 trigger housing like me, you have a spring to actually connect your trigger bar to your trigger housing. In a Gen 3, you could just put it in like the little hole and it'll actually hold it with the disconnector. So for the Gen 4, you actually have to latch this back together how you took it apart, bro. And it's literally as simple as putting this hook in this hole. It's that simple. Now my trigger housing is actually connected. Now I can just take that and insert it back how I had it. Enter it exactly how you had it, and your trigger setup should look exactly like this. Exactly how it came out, bro. You literally just change the trigger shoe. That's all. Now you can proceed to drop this in your gun. I'm going to put my back pin in. I personally like putting the back pin in first. I don't really think it matters. Put that back pin in. Set your reset trip on the trigger shoe. Don't try to install it because you're probably not going to be able to. And I say set the reset trip on before you put the lock and block in, because it'll be way harder to like actually install this. And this is the V1, so you're not installing your slide lever lock. Now you put your reset trip back on, put your lock and block back on. Now you can proceed to drop all the pins back in, bro, and it's literally that simple. Your Glock FRT is installed. Put your slide back on. And now the Glock FRT is installed. And that is how you install the Glock FRT V1. I will be coming out with the V2 installation tomorrow. It's pretty much the same thing, bro. You just add in that spring into the mix. That's the only thing you're changing, bro. But that's all I got for y'all today, man. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, all that. It's free, man. Now, hold on. I can't do an install video without showing y'all boys how function test works on this. Now, I'm still working on my Glock 17 Gen 4, so I haven't got my reset to actually reset like reliably and consecutively. It'll reset sometimes, bro, but we looking for that reliable reset. But this is how you perform the function test on the Glock FRT. You just clock it back, and mine is a little bit sticky. That's why I said I still have to work with this. So squeeze that trigger, and then just like that. And as you're letting this slide come back forward, your gun should be going off. You see, my gun isn't going off, so I still have to work on that. But I still have my trigger pull. So it's a little bit more work, and I feel like it's gonna go for sure. See, right there, it was working. It got stuck right there. So it's showing hope, bro. It's just not as reliable as other models and stuff. Like, let me show you this one in my Glock 45. So this is the one in the Glock 45. It is a Glock FRT. It's just a different design. And as you can see, when I rack this one, it's off rip a little bit easier to rack. Now, when I rack this, squeeze the trigger. The gun is going off and my trigger is dead. You see, I can't reset that and press the trigger how I can on this Glock 17. Let me show you that one more time. Pull the trigger. Hold the trigger. It's stuck, very sticky, and once you let go of the trigger after you done racking it, you can just pull the trigger again. So the V1 is currently not working in the Gen 4's Glock 17. We're going to work on this for sure. I'm going to see what I can do for sure. But if not, we just rocking out with this design right here, yo. Link in my bio, though. I might just throw this one on the site. I mean, I keep the V1 up there for anyone who wants to work on it or etc. But this, like this version, way better. That's how it's supposed to sound. And you should not be able to pull your trigger after you just got done doing a function test unless you rack your slide again. Alright, now I was playing with the V1 in this Glock 17 a little bit more, bro. And I'm just racking the slide, like just filling it out a little bit. It is very, very sticky. But I'm racking this out, filling it out a little bit. And I pulled the trigger and just let it go. And then we got that actual reset how it's supposed to. Like the gun went off when that slide went back forward. And I can't reset the trigger like that. So I would have to rack it how I did on this Glock 45. So the V1 and the V2 are, like, they do work, bro. They're just way harder to run than all of these other kits that people are coming out with. But we can get it running for sure, bro. You just have to work on it. And not too many people want to work on their guns. They want something that's more drop-in like this. So, hey, if you want a V1, you can get a V1. You just most definitely going to have to work on that boy. Alright, last little insert. Now, I've been working on this Glock 17 since I made that little install video the other day. We might be on to something, y'all. We might be on to something. As you can see, it's way easier to rack as before. Well, way easier to rack than before. And the gun is actually going off when we rack the slide. Lose that reset. So I might have figured out a little bit of sauce to it. Now, I personally didn't figure it out, but I saw it in the thread and I decided to try it and it worked on my shit. So I don't know, the V1s might be official. They might be official, yo. I thought they was duds, I'm not gonna lie, but they might be official. You just gotta work on them a little bit. Hey, you like that one? Go ahead, click this one too, bro. You gonna fuck with it, bro. I'm telling you, bro. Man, click the fucking video, man.